Noam Chomsky joins us now from Boston. It's good to have you back again, Noam. Why don't we start there before we talk about WikiLeaks? What was your involvement with the Pentagon Papers? I don't think most people know about this.
Dan and I were friends. Tony Russo also, who also prepared them and helped leak them. And I got advance copies from Dan and Tony, and there were several people who were releasing them to the press. I was one of them. And then I, along with Howard Zinn, as you mentioned, edited a volume of essays and an index to the papers.
So explain, though, how it worked. And I always think this is important to tell the story, especially for young people. Dan Ellsberg, Pentagon official, top secret clearance, gets this U.S. Involvement in Vietnam history out of his safe. He Xeroxes it. And then how did you get your hands on it? He just directly gave it to you?
From Dan and Dan Ellsberg and Tony Russo, who had done the Xeroxing and the preparation of the material. Yes,
exactly. Directly. Did you edit?
Well, we didn't modify anything. The papers were not edited. They're just in their original form. What Howard Zinn and I did was, they came out in 4 volumes. We prepared a 5th volume, which is critical essays by many scholars on the papers, what they mean, their significance, and so on, and an index, which is almost indispensable for using them seriously. So that's the 5th volume in the Beacon Press series.
You were then one of the first people to see the Pentagon Papers.
Outside of Dan Ellsberg and Tony Russo, yes. I mean, there were some journalists who may have seen them, I'm not sure.
So what are your thoughts today as, for example, we just played this clip of New York Republican Congressmember Peter King, who says WikiLeaks should be declared a foreign terrorist organization?
I think that's outlandish. The materials, we should understand, and the Pentagon Papers is another case in point, that one of the major reasons for government secrecy is to protect the government from its own population. In the Pentagon Papers, for example, there was one volume, the negotiations volume, which might have had bearing on ongoing activities, and Dan Ellsberg withheld that. That came out a little bit later. But if you look at the papers themselves, there are things that Americans should have known that the government didn't want them to know. And as far as I can tell from what I've seen here, pretty much the same is true. In fact, the current leaks are, what I've seen at least, primarily interesting because of what they tell us about how the diplomatic service works.